Hi, Scott Orlin with Cinema-Magazin. In our continuing series of Cinema Out of the Box, we're going to bring you, let's see, there's so many accolades we could talk about this man. World championship bodybuilder, huge movie star, former governor of the state of California, or just Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold, thank you so much for being here. First of all, I have to congratulate you. How does it feel to be a grandfather for the first time?
I think that, first of all, I've gotten hundreds of congratulatory notes and messages and, tweets and FaceTimes and everything else you can think of. And it's the first time that I'm getting congratulated over something that I had nothing to do with. So it's an interesting thing. But I mean, I'm delighted because Catherine is such a great woman, and she has, become such a great woman, and she had her wish was so much to become a mother and to have a child and all this stuff, and now she has that, and she's so happy, and the baby is so beautiful, and this is not because I'm prejudiced about because it's mine. And that's why I'm saying that, but it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous baby. It's like a little humble figure, the face. It's like so pristine and like porcelain. It's unbelievable. And so it's nice. I remember it was so nice for Catherine to invite me over to the house when she got back from the hospital. And an hour later, I was over there at her house, and she put the baby into my arms. And which always takes a lot for a mother to do, because you're always so worried about that someone is not going to hold the head the right way, and someone is not going to do this or drop the baby or whatever. There's fears there. And she just handed me the baby and had total confidence in me. That made me really feel so good that she had that confidence in me. And she said, "Look, you did a great job with me, so I know you're going to do a great job with my baby." And so I held this baby for half an hour, and it was just wonderful to do that. And so I'm so happy for us all, but especially for her and for Chris.
This is the first summer where we really, sadly, have not had huge movies at the box office because of the corona crisis. Can you talk a little bit about how you think the state of the industry is with this? I mean, will Hollywood studios be able to rebound?
Just remember, there's always the ideal situation, and then there's the situation that you have to improvise into. Because, so when you have a coronavirus and you realize that one of the important things is to wear a mask so you don't give the illness to someone else, and another one is social distancing, and another one is to wash your hands. Well, the social distancing, for instance, doesn't work when you sit in a theater and you're cramped in a theater, because the fun thing about theaters is that you sit next to each other and you create this atmosphere that you don't see when you watch a movie by yourself. The audience laughs, the audience is in tension, and then people just grabbing each other when there's really a tense scene or something like that, or something really violent, and then they scream louder. If there's a surprise, there's something scary, they go, "Oh my God, oh my God, that scared me." And so it goes through this whole thing. So that doesn't exist right now. And so therefore what you have to do is you have to say to yourself, okay, the movies were made for the big screen, but what is the next best thing? The most important thing is that the movies are getting seen by the people. And so now you use the next best thing, which is most people have a big screen now at home. It's not anymore the little box like in the old days. When I came to this country, we had a black and white kind of little box. Now we have big screens, and you feel like you have your own theater at home. A lot of people feel that way. So I think that there is a lot of stuff that I watch now on the screen, on my television screen. It works. You just have to shift down and say, this is the next best thing. And I've watched many of my movies at home on TV when they periodically come on. I remember the last time, just before Christmas, there was Jingle All the Way on, and it just came on television, and then I just finished watching it, and it was perfectly fine on a little screen also. I enjoyed it also. But I know exactly what you're saying. It's a great event period, right? When the big movies come out and it's the big screen and you see the big theater and all of this stuff. And it's fun to get your popcorn and all this, that whole routine. But right now, that's not possible. And so therefore, we have to go for the next best thing. I think the studios are doing a good job. They are holding some of those big movies. They're releasing it and giving it to Netflix or someone else to just stream it and to show it to the people so that they can make some of their money back. And it's a very difficult time, not only for, in general, for the industries and for the economy, but also for the movie industry. They have to figure it out. It's very, very difficult. You know, my son-in-law, Chris Pratt, you know, he's in the middle of filming his film, and he has come back now for the birth of the baby. And then he's going to go back again this week to London and continue shooting his film. And they have all kinds of strict rules with the quarantine and with testing each day and with taking fever and temperatures and all this. It's very, very expensive to do all this stuff, very problematic to do all this stuff. So only the big budget movies can afford that. Little movies have to figure out their own way of doing things, you know, or shooting somewhere where it's safer and so on. But it's a difficult time. But I think that if you're willing to make the adjustments, anything is possible.
And while we're on the subject of movies, maybe just give us a little state of the union about where you are in your career. I mean, obviously, as you get into this later chapter in life, there may be certain roles that you can't parlay anymore. How does Hollywood look at you? Do you still have the same excitement for the industry?
I think there is definitely roles that are not where I don't ever get an offer. You know, so that happens. I think, for instance, if someone is casting a 20-year-old, I'm not going to get the job.
25.
Maybe 25. If someone wants to have a scrawny little kid or a scrawny little old man, I won't get the job. If someone wants to hire someone with a perfect American or Southern accent, I won't get the job. So yes, there are parts like this that I will be excluded from. But I cannot complain because whenever I want to work, I work. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we're developing right now because now it's the time because of coronavirus where we have the time to do that. If it is, you know, a TV series with David Allison, or if it is to kind of prep and put together triplets with Ivan Reitman producing it and putting it together, being responsible for the writing and all that. The script just came in, which was really fantastic. So we're working on that. And then there's a Barbarian kind of from the History Channel, Barbarian series that I was offered. So we're looking at that. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that where I feel like when the next year, when I'm ready to go back to work, that we will have a great project to do, or several great projects to do.
All right.
Bless you. Bless you. So I would say that, you know, am I on the top of my acting career or of my career? No, because I think that as age goes on, you know, you're going to lose that luster for being the top. There's always new guys that are coming up that are the new big guys on the block. And I enjoyed that when it happened to me. But it doesn't mean that it is over. So it just, you know, just means that you're not in that category. But I cannot complain at all because I think that whenever, like I said, whenever I want to work, I work. And when I look back at my history, I was very fortunate to be on a role for so many years and decades, actually. So my acting career has been really great.
As we said earlier, you were the governor of California, so you are quite familiar with elections. Well, there's a huge one coming up in this country in November. Have you decided where your vote is going to land? I mean, who you're going to support?
I'm not going to go and make any announcements who I'm going to vote for, but I tell you there are a lot of things that I do see eye to eye with Donald Trump, and there's a lot of things where I don't. And so, no one has to believe exactly the way I believe, and I don't expect him to believe exactly what I believe and all this stuff. It just happens to be when it comes to certain issues, I'm against it. And like I said, I think the important thing now is, as I said earlier, we all come together and work together. So, but who I'm going to vote for, there's still many months left to go. I think 70 some days left to go. And so I'm just going to go and look at what they all have to represent. Both of the conventions are going to go by now. Now we're in the middle of the Republican convention, and it's coming to an end, I think, today. So we will see what all of they have to offer. Because remember one thing, dialogue is cheap, but action is where the value is. And I think we have heard enough dialogues over the last 50 years about equality and all this kind of stuff, and we haven't really made the kind of headway that we should have made. And I think now is the time. It's ripe now because of what has happened with all this, black people being killed by police officers. And I think that the protests and all this stuff, I think the time is ripe now where people pay attention to this. And now we should pass laws that really create better equality. It's never going to happen from one day to the next anyway. But as Martin Luther King once said to students, I think it was in 1967, he said that we need, in order to really create reform in America, to create equality, we need first a blueprint. And that's what we need. We need to go and have the smartest people, black and white and all different races, come together and create a blueprint, and then have Congress vote for that, and have the president sign it.
Obviously, one gets concerned as one gets older that we're told what we should eat, how we should take care of ourselves. How are you managing all that right now?
I just hate it. I smoke one cigar a day, and it's probably not the best thing for your health. And cookies, those are vegan cookies that I'm eating here. And the interesting thing about it is that because they're not really sweet or that sweet, I think that's why Lulu and whiskey loves them so much. And so whenever I go and start eating a cookie, they somehow smell it. And they come running into the house and they start invading my cookie jar. And they start eating cookies. So that's the way it is.
I can't help but ask you about your other children, your donkeys.
Sorry. Lulu, I'm doing an interview right now. Don't you see that? It's just, you don't even have lipstick on, Lulu. What is the matter with you today? Here, Lulu, I'll give you one more, and then you're going to go. Okay? Okay, now you're going to go. Okay?
That's great. Arnold and Lulu, thank you so much for being part of this conversation. And I think I may need to go get a donkey now. Arnold, great. This is Scott Orlin. Till next time.